Okay, this is TWCC Toronto again. I was just letting you know that we have another slideshow. It's called Focus Groups. The agenda is purpose discussion, successful focus groups, careful developed plan, and interpreted sessions. So the purpose is to acquire in-depth response from a group of human services consumers or research subjects regarding an agency, program service, or office topics. Our discussion is human services agencies and qualitative researchers have followed the marketing branch of the business community in the use of focus groups as a technique for collecting valuable information. So a focus group is a small group of people, usually 8 to 12, who had a common experience or share common knowledge, led through 1 to 2 hours discussion of a particular topic. And this goal is to explore the topic of allowing the ideas of participants to create a synergy that promotes in-depth discussion until the points of the agreement of disagreement emerge and become clear. So focus groups are particularly useful in identifying why the participants think or feel as they do about the subject. So when used for administrative purposes, focus groups can supply information that may be helpful in activities such as planning services and assessing the needs of current consumers or services, developing marketing strategies, or identifying the implications of uh, terminating a particular program. So this technique might be used with existing groups of clients of community members. In research, focus groups are used in association with qualitative approach in which content analysis of transcription of the meeting serve as a data source for the identification of important themes and fleshing out the meaning participants attribute to them. In addition to the snowball effect of members extended their thinking from the ideas presented by others. Focus groups are relatively inexpensive and usually a readily available source of data. So there are four essentials of the successful focus group meeting. First, a participant should be selected carefully, and they should represent a broad range of people who are familiar with topic and should be people willing to speak their minds, such as a Bible sharing group, that you pick certain people to maybe lead the group, uh, moderate, facilitate. So usually they assign certain roles within the Bible sharing group. So people who are familiar with the topic, people willing to speak their minds. Again, through Bible sharing, there are heard of testimonies, prayers, and your petitions when you go through the Bible sharing group, and how the Word will reflect what is reflected in your life, and how it, um, who you want to pray for, and how Jesus is speaking to you in that particular situation, and how can we understand what God is saying to us in Scripture. So, thus should be viewed cautiously and considered only one data source for making the decision. Usually, when we meet with maybe new people or new members, the atmosphere of the meeting and the meeting place should be conducive to freewheeling discussion, and the participants should be protected from any type of retribution, depending on your policies and what type of the topic matter that was spoken in the last session. So for any remarks they might make, um, would be considered a retribution. So it is not a usual procedure to follow scientific sampling process in selecting the participants. Second, the moderator should be well prepared. It is a leader's responsibility to introduce the topic without suggesting a bias and to facilitate open discussion of the topic. And the moderator must listen carefully and explore the meaning behind the participants' statements and constantly probing for greater depth and clarity. He or she must be flexible in allowing the group to explore the topic as the flow of their discussion leads, but at the same time be able to bring the group back to the topic when targets are no longer productive. The moderator must assure that no member dominates the session and everyone has an opportunity to speak. Dimensions of the topic being explored. So, say they would time you and they would explore the content, what you're saying, and how long are they speaking. So, usually you can try to limit their talks or discussion to probably 8 minutes. So third, there should be carefully developed plan for the group meeting and includes the preparation of a series of open-minded questions or statements that stimulate discussion of the topic. The person's planning and the focus group should develop an outline known as a moderator guide. Usually you kind of send that through a messenger or text or through email before you start your focus group. That introduces the subject matter in a logical manner and usually that most general areas to the most specific and probes for what the participants perceive to be relevant dimensions of the topic. The moderator guide can be used as a checklist during the meeting and ensure that all important aspects of the topic are addressed before the meeting is concluded. So time should be reserved at the end of the meeting for participants to add topics that may have been omitted and for the moderator to summarize what he or she saw and important themes in the discussion, allowing participants to reply to that summary. Finally, the information provided by the group members must be recorded and actually interpreted. Often, audio tapes or videotapes of the sessions used along with note taking by observers and to record the information that emerges in the meeting. Again, it's important to minimize any biases of self interest when interpreting the information. So, anyone who wants to join, a certain focus group or a certain workshop that may be introduced with TWCC Toronto, it also helps out in public speaking. It involves you're practicing your pitch and tone and volume to convey emotions and emphasize points and maintain interest. So, pitch variation, your tone inflection, your volume control, effective body language enhances your message, making it more impactful and memorable. Meaningful eye contact, purposeful gestures, maintain good posture, and control your expectations. So, when you try to recap, um, what you're trying to say, is it effectively, so that's why you need like someone on the other end, maybe in the audience or when you're speaking on Teams or on Messenger, um, usually in a focus group, you'd be able to hear like how you sound. So navigating questions and answers, know your material in advance, anticipate common question, rehearse your responses. Again, it needs a lot of practice, and then practice makes perfect. So maintaining composure during questions and answer session is essential for projecting confidence and authority. Consider the following tips for staying composed: is stay calm, actively listen, pause and reflect, maintain eye contact. So to work on dynamic delivery, you learn to infuse energy into your delivery to leave a lasting impression. One of the goals of effective communication is to motivate your audience. So we try to use a target and the actual target that's been met. So audience attendance, your engagement duration, your question and answer interaction, what's the positive feedback rate of information retention. So like again, just a reminder, final tips and takeaways, a consistent rehearsal, you strengthen your familiarity, refine delivery style, pacing, tone, and emphasis, timing, and transition. Aim for seamless professional delivery. Um, Practice audience, enlist colleagues to listen and provide feedback. Seek feedback, reflect on performance, explore new techniques, set personal goals, iterate, and adapt. So we have some metrics that we have here for impact factor, your measurements in percentage and average, number of opportunities that you had in the focus, what was the target, what's achieved. So your audience interaction, your knowledge retention, your post presentation surveys. Usually, surveys are very important for your feedback for your focus group. Usually, do referral rates, who you refer them to, who the focus groups, are they effective? Are you bringing in your interaction, your percentage? What what is your target? Are they being achieved? What is your collaboration opportunities? Number of opportunities. Thank you again. You can always email or call Mark and either by phone 647-801-6000 or Mark_Francisco at Rogers.com. Thank you.